Good morning and welcome. I'm Greg Prairie, a community representative on the Gundersen Lutheran Board of Trustees. I want to thank you for joining us today as we break ground on a new hospital. This hospital will allow Gundersen Lutheran to continue to provide excellent, high-value care to families in our region. While we're celebrating the construction of a new hospital, it's much more than bricks and mortar. It goes deeper than that, and it will impact all of us one way or another at some point in time. It's about making sure that family and children receive the care they need and have access to the health care they deserve. It's about the parents, grandparents, and children who don't know that a few years or decades from now, they're going to need that cancer care, they're going to need that heart care, and they may have an accident. For my part, it was only 5 years ago I stood outside this window waiting for the Medlink helicopter to come in. My wife and I waited while they transported our son, who was involved in a tractor rollover. At that point in time, we did not know if our son would live or die. Healthcare gets very personal at that time. This hospital is all about emergency situations like that for all of us. At some point in time in our lives, we will all have a loved one in the hospital. It could be good news for a birth. It could be caring for an ailing loved one. They're delicate and sensitive times. This future hospital that we're honoring today will allow all of our patients to have private rooms, so the families receive the personal time they need. And these private rooms will be at no greater cost than double occupancy. That's key. This new hospital will allow Gundersen Lutheran to continue to attract world-class physicians and staff to provide that great care. It's going to provide a stronger link for a value-based health care, managing costs and following our patient focus. It will also allow us to meet the needs and expectations of our patients, their families, and our staff in all of the communities we serve. This new hospital is really about the children you're seeing here today and the thousands that they represent that are going to need our care in future years. This is a great day for La Crosse. I'd like to introduce Steve Burgess, one of our committee members.
Thank you, Greg. It gives me great pleasure to introduce the governor of this fine state of Wisconsin, Governor Scott Walker. Governor Walker has a long and distinguished career in public service in the state of Wisconsin. He's absolutely committed to the economy and creating jobs in Wisconsin, both of which Gundersen Lutheran is well proud of and well willing to support. Governor Walker, as you put your stake in the ground tonight to launch the state's initiative on jobs, Gundersen Lutheran is putting a stake in the ground today to mark the beginning of a new era in La Crosse in healthcare, jobs, and promotion of our community. We are pleased to have Governor Walker with us today as he helps us break ground for this new hospital. The new hospital will allow Gundersen Lutheran to continue to provide the outstanding health care that we have all grown to appreciate. With that, please help me welcome Governor Scott Walker.
Thanks. Well, good morning, both to all of us out here and to those inside there as well. It is an honor to be here at Gundersen Lutheran for the groundbreaking for this campus renewal, not just for the 6-story structure we're talking about, but for the entire renewal projects that's a part of this, really expanding the influence both economically but more importantly on a quality basis throughout this region. And it's really an honor as the governor of the great state of Wisconsin to be here. First off, I want to say Steve has been a longtime friend. I want to thank you for your leadership at the bank, your leadership here at Gundersen Lutheran, and in so many other ways throughout the community. Although I was going to razz you at homecoming this year, having been an alumni of Platteville, I didn't know who you're cheering for the Eagles or not, but I've outed you on that one. But it's been a long-standing supporter of all the folks here in La Crosse and the Coulee region. And Steve, we appreciate your leadership. Thanks for the introduction. Greg as well, I said you've got a nice array of community board members here. Appreciate your leadership as well and your involvement not only here at Gundersen Lutheran but in the past United Way and Special Olympics and so many other ways. I think when you look at the board here at Gundersen Lutheran, it reflects the community commitment not only to healthcare but to community leaders. And to Dr. Thompson for your leadership here at Gundersen Lutheran with your staff and faculty, but really nationally on putting Gundersen Lutheran on the map and making Wisconsin shine yet again. We thank you for being here. I'm pleased to be joined as well with Congressman Ron Kind and appreciate his leadership in Congress. Although I have to laugh, I'm thinking about that. I'm surrounded by a banker, a CPA, a doctor, and a congressman. It sounds like the start of a joke. But we're pleased to have you here as well as the mayor and so many other community leaders. We appreciate everybody coming out for this joyous day. Certainly, as somebody who's talked, and a week ago I was just up the way here in the region talking at Duratec about jobs and the fact that Wisconsin's open for business. We talk about breaking ground for a 6-story structure that's going to put in totality about 1,995 people to work in terms of jobs with construction, with design, with everything else that's a part of that. That certainly in and of itself is a day to celebrate, because that means good jobs, good paying jobs for people all throughout our community, all throughout this region. And so as governor committed to putting Wisconsin back to work again, I'm thrilled with the prospect of being here. And I think about that not only in terms of the building, but thinking back to the rich history of this healthcare system, thinking back to the day many, many years ago when Dr. Adolf Gundersen put out a shingle just down the way in La Crosse, and the vision of a Norwegian immigrant coming into this area, never dreaming exactly what was going to become of that, but having a dream and an inspiration to serve people in this community when it came to healthcare. I think today he'd be both amazed and shocked just by how far that dream has gone. And so in many ways we're dedicating the start of a building. But I think even more importantly than just those of us out here, but for those listening in just across the way in the auditorium, it's also the celebration of what goes on inside our buildings. Because I think that's even more important than just the structure itself. Certainly that's dynamic and it's going to put a lot of people to work, but it's the value of the men and women who are part of the staff and faculty, those who benefit from the services here. And Greg, as you talked about with your personal relationship, I think back years ago, my youngest son is 15, and the benefit of living where I lived at the time in Wauwatosa, when my son had his first asthma attack, being that close to one of the best pediatric children's hospitals in the country, and the fact that my wife and I, for a day or two when he was in the hospital, could actually trade off time and not have to stay at the Ronald McDonald House down the way, but be in our own community, in our own backyard. There's not a price you can put on that in terms of the impact. And to all the miracle makers who are sitting in the audience out there, to the people who every day, and even more so through this renewal project, will be able to help create more miracles in this community, in this region, across the state, and in many ways for people coming across the country. That's what we're really celebrating today. It's the opportunity, whether it comes in expanding critical and emergency care, the expansion of emergency rooms, but most importantly, when we think about our young people, the NCI, the intensive care units, and the other elements that are going to be a part of that, really being able to reach out and expand another level of care in this community, and to be a national model on that. When I think about Gundersen Lutheran, and Congressman Kide knows this because one of his former colleagues, Newt Gingrich, often talks nationally about the benefit of Gundersen Lutheran and the model that we have here. Really the perfect balance between highest levels of quality in terms of health care, but bringing it to the people that they serve on a very low-cost performance basis. This renewal project will help expand that, and I think that's probably the most exciting thing, even when it comes from an economic standpoint. Because while quality of life is often measured by, being here, as Mike Hipsch, your former representative, now my Secretary of Administration, said for years, being in God's country, with the bluffs and the wonderful view of the Mississippi, being along some of the spectacular parks, or just being able to pull up on a day, not so much like today, but on a warm day when the loggers are playing baseball or anything else throughout this region. Certainly quality of life means all those things. But as Greg and I and others who have personal experience can attest to, quality of life more than anything means being able to raise your family in a community where they have access to quality health care that you can afford. And Gundersen Lutheran has been a leader in that, and so that, more than anything, is what we celebrate today. That's why I'm honored to be kind of the lead-up act. I'm the warm-up act to what's going to happen with the groundbreaking. I got a chance to meet each of the dozen or so young people who are here today, the children of the staff of Gundersen Lutheran, and the contractors, the design crew, and others, because that's really what we're celebrating. It's the fact that for their generation and generations to come, we're going to continue to have a strong presence in this region, and that's why it's my honor on behalf of all the people of Wisconsin to be here today. Congratulations.
Thank you, Governor. And at this time, the kids and the governor, we are going to go out and dig some dirt.
Excellent. Sounds like fun.
Right. Yeah, you guys come on up a little bit. They can see you. Come on over here.
Okay, governors and children, let's break ground.
You guys ready? Should we count on 3? Get some dirt in there. You guys got some dirt? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Come on, guys. Hey, you want to do it again?
Here we go. Come on up here.
Put it in there. Come on, buddy. Put it right in there. All right. You ready to do it again? Get some dirt in there.
You guys ready?
All right. Take it out. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Now only got about 15,000 more shovels like this, and we'll be set to go, right?
Okay, thank all of you for joining us today, and we will be available for the media for discussion in the Rasmus Center.
Good job, guys.
All right.